Hey everyone, this is Peter Boykin. Welcome to another edition of hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, where we explore the critical issues facing our constitutional republic. In this segment, we're diving into some major developments shaping the 2024 presidential election and the global battle for free speech. First off, RFK Jr. shakes up the 2024 election by endorsing Donald Trump in a move that has sent shockwaves through the political landscape. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has officially ended his presidential campaign and thrown his support behind former President Donald Trump. This endorsement is a strategic game changer, especially in the battleground states where every vote counts. Kennedy's decision, announced during a recent speech, comes after he acknowledged the lack of a, quote, realistic path to an electoral victory. He stated that the same issues that motivated his campaign are now leading him to, back to Trump. Well, leading him to back Trump. As Kennedy put it, quote, "The very reason that brought me into this race are the reasons I am now endorsing President Trump." Appearing alongside Trump at a massive rally in Arizona, Kennedy resonated with the crowd by questioning whether they wanted a leader who would get us out of all the wars and rebuild the middle class. He further pressed, "Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?" The impact of Kennedy's endorsement could be monumental. Internal polling suggests that 57% of Kennedy supporters would switch their vote to Trump, a margin that could be decisive in the tightly contested swing states. With Kennedy polling between 3 to 6% in these states, his support could very well be the tipping point that determines the outcome of this election. Now, CNN's Aaron Burnett underscored the significance of this move, calling it huge and stating it is everything. The addition of prominent former Democrats like Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard have also endorsed Donald Trump, further strengthens his appeal across party lines. The 2024 election is poised to be the closest in modern history, and these developments could be the deciding factor. Wait till the end, I'll give you my opinion. Next off, Pavel Durov's arrest, a global battle for free speech. Shifting from the domestic front to the international stage, the recent arrest of Telegram CEO Pavel Durov in France has ignited a firestorm of controversy and raised critical questions about the future of free speech worldwide. Durov, who founded the encrypted messaging platform Telegram that I use a whole lot, was detained by French authorities at Le Bourget airport near France. The charges against him include terrorism, money laundering, and failure to moderate illegal activities on his platform. However, many believe these charges are politically motivated, given Telegram's role in providing a platform for uncensored news and information. Where do you think I get a lot of my news from before anybody else? Uncensored, too. Telegram, known for its resistance to government censorship, boasts nearly 1 billion users globally. Durov's legal team has dismissed the allegations, comparing them to blaming a car manufacturer for how its vehicles are used. The sentiment is echoed by other free speech advocates who see Durov's arrest as an attack on the fundamental right to free expression. High-profile figures including Elon Musk and Rumble CEO Chris Pavlovsky have condemned the arrest. Musk described the situation as, quote, dangerous times, warning of a dystopian future where people could be executed for liking a meme. Pavlovsky also vowed to use all legal means to defend freedom of expression, calling Durov a, quote, political prisoner and a victim of a witch hunt by the West. And you notice that Facebook hasn't said anything. I bet you Tom would have a problem with it. But Zuckerberg, crickets. But we know that. Durov's background is worth noting. Originally from Russia, he left the country in 2014 after refusing to censor his previous platform, Vkontaktet, Vkontaktet, at the behest of the Russian government. His commitment to free speech has remained steadfast despite pressure from various governments. The arrest is not just a French issue. It's part of a broader global trend that governments are increasingly cracking down on platforms that refuse to censor content. During the COVID-19 pandemic and the aftermath of the 2020 U.S. election, Western governments intensified efforts to control the flow of information online. 1994, anyone? However, the resurgence of free speech platforms like Telegram, Rumble, and X, formerly Twitter, has pushed back against this censorship. Now, the arrest of Durov is a significant escalation in the battle over free speech, with implications that stretch far beyond France. It's a stark reminder that the fight for the freedom of expression is ongoing and that the powers at play are as determined as ever to silence the dissent. Meanwhile, Trump addresses key voter concerns. Turning back to the United States election, former President Donald Trump recently highlighted the key issues facing American voters during his speech at the Republican National Convention. In stark contrast to Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump focused extensively on the economy, jobs, and immigration, topics that resonate deeply with many Americans. Now, according to the New York Times analysis, Trump mentioned terms related to the economy over 70 times, while Harris barely touched on these issues during her acceptance speech. Similarly, Trump discussed immigration-related topics 43 times, while Harris mentioned them just 9 times. The economy and immigration remain top contenders for voters, as highlighted by a recent Economist YouGov poll. Nearly a quarter of voters cited inflation and prices as their primary issue, with jobs and the economy following closely behind. Despite these concerns, Harris did not address inflation at all during her speech. Some experts attribute the current economic challenges to the Biden-Harris administration's extensive spending, including the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan and the $750 billion Inflation Reduction Act. These measures have contributed to the national debt reaching a historic $35 trillion, adding to the financial burden on everyday citizens and Americans. As the election draws closer, the contrast between Trump and Harris's messaging on these critical issues could play a significant role in swaying undecided voters. With the economy, jobs, and immigration at the forefront of voters' minds, Trump's focus on these topics could give him the edge needed to secure victory. The 2024 presidential election and the global battle for free speech are two defining issues of our time. Whether it's the strategic maneuvers of political figures like RFK Jr. and Donald Trump, or the courageous stand for free speech advocates like Pavel Durov, these events will shape the future of our constitutional republic and the freedoms we hold dear. Now, let me give you a hashtag Go Right recap real quick. So, we started off talking about how RFK Jr. decided to basically stop everything, suspend his campaign, and get behind Donald Trump. A great move. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the Bernie bump even though Bernie didn't really endorse Donald Trump, he had the issue, and a lot of the, once they screwed over Bernie in the 2016 election, a lot of Bernie Sanders third-party people came over to Donald Trump. So now we have the RFK situation. And I'm sure a lot of this has to do with the fact of the history of the Kennedy family and assassinations. And it was said that Donald Trump spoke to RFK Jr. after his attempted assassination. I think that changed a lot. But if you listen to the speech of RFK Jr., everything he said that the Democrat Party stood for, like free speech and less big government and government out of your lives and so forth, it was great. Those are the kind of things that classical liberals believe in. Those are the things, the reason why I didn't sign up to be a Democrat or Republican a long time ago, even though I always tended to be more of a moderate person, just unaffiliated. But always probably leaning more to the right. But I also agreed with a lot that the Democrats were for back then. And like he said, they are no longer the party of any of that. They are no longer the party of keeping our democracy. They are the party of chaos and destruction. They don't want to make America great again or make America great. They want the opposite of that. That's the reason why they call us MAGA terrorists. If you're against MAGA, that means you don't want America to be great. You don't want America to be great again, right? So I am happy that RFK Jr. has matched. And if you are undecided about Donald Trump, and I know that a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. I know you might not like his attitude. You might not like how he's done. You might how things are done, Donald Trump has done in the past. Or you think he might not be able to do the job. But let me remind you about history. Donald Trump can do it. But he needs the support. He needs support of the citizens, and he also needs support of the House and the Senate to get things passed. And if you believe in government and the way government's supposed to work, the president is not a dictator. He cannot do it by himself. People need to understand that. The president does not pass bills. Congress and Senate pass bills. The president eventually signs it or vetoes, but he does not pass bills. Executive orders all day long can work for a little while, but he doesn't pass the laws. The Supreme Court, also with a balance, they also find out if laws are constitutional or unconstitutional. Now let's move on to the Pavel. This is the Pavel-Durov. I use Telegram. I use Telegram a lot. I use it just for notes to save things, save lists, save credit card numbers, save crucial things, because this goes in my saved box. And that is encrypted. People can't get into it. And see, that's the problem. Remember, folks, all of these apps, Facebook and everything, they claim that they're encryption. I think Facebook claims that they have encryption messages and everything. And technology is made, like AI, encryption, etc. Anytime we have a technology, humans can use it for good, or they can use it for evil. And Durov's app is greatly used for good. And it's useful. It gets information out. Unfiltered information. It's the reason why the Google Store and the Apple Store won't let you see some of the stuff through your app, but you can see it online. They want to censor you from getting proper information because they want news to be filtered through some corporate conglomerate agency. And they don't want us to hear the news. They don't want us to communicate. They don't want a place for people to communicate. I don't know. They can communicate hate speech. They can communicate love. There are some people that use it for evil purposes, though. There are people that use it for drugs and child porn, etc. But if you've paid any attention, Durov and them actually do try to shut down these groups. There's a daily thing where they're shutting down terrorists, they're shutting down pedophile rings, etc. It has also been used a good tool to discover people who do this. But at the end of the day, They want to arrest this guy for having an app that some people use wrong, but a lot of us use it right. Does this man deserve jail? No. And hopefully we'll hear more things out of this in the future. We just freed Iran or whatever after so many times, and now we got a new political prisoner. And let's finalize with Trump basically take care of the key issues. Kamala Harris is not prepared. I don't care if she was vice president. She's not prepared. She can't do the job. She doesn't know what she's supposed to do. She doesn't even know what she's getting herself into. And I know that's opinionated, but look at the facts. And I see that even after the bump, it's like, oh, I keep seeing the liberal media push Kamala Harris is in the lead. Kamala Harris is in the lead. Kamala Harris is in the lead. Remember, folks, they said this in Donald Trump in 2016, and they were greatly surprised when there was a giant landslide. But, folks, do not give up, because we still have the wild card out there. We don't know what people will do. We don't know. There is a lot of poorly educated voters. Our system really puts out people who do not understand government, do not understand the actual things going on. They can't even tell you why they like Kamala Harris. And that's funny videos to watch when they do the man on the street and they ask people, what policy do you like of Kamala Harris? And they don't know. They like all of them. Well, which one? All of them. And when you press them, they're like, this interview's over, and they get mad because they don't. Meanwhile, people like me on the right, I have to know and defend my belief in Donald Trump and my belief in the Republican system and our constitutional republic. I am a defender of the constitutional republic. I'm a constitutionalist for liberty. I write these articles on GoRightNews.com. I give you the podcast. I give you the information. And I urge you to share these. Go on the website, peterboykin.com, GoRightNews.com, share these information. So, stay tuned to hashtag GoRight with Peter Boykin as we continue to bring you the latest developments and in-depth analysis on the issues that matter most to you and the future of our nation. God bless. Peace.